I'm not advocating this for everybody. I'm just saying that this is sometimes an alternative to doing the things that can help you. And you know what was another thing that actually surprisingly has been helping me is, so I told you I had to plan a funeral for my stepfather. And so for the repast, I wanted to play some music. And so, I wanted to play, of course, gospel music, Christian music, whatever. And I can't tell you why I've gotten out of gospel music, because ever since the funeral, I've been playing it like every time I get in my car. And oh my God, it has been helping me so much. It also helped me get some of that, the what do you want to call it? The release I needed. So like I haven't been crying and doing all the things. But like when I heard Stand by Danny McClurkin, or I'm sorry, Donnie McClurkin, um, it made me cry, and that release made me feel so good. And also, I just want to bring this up because I just want to know what this is about. So when I was at the repast, and I'm like I said, I'm playing all the music, at the repast, and I haven't listened to church music in a while, and so I was getting into it like, oh, that's my song. But it's not like at the club where you can be that kind of thing. So I'm like, so I'm doing all my clapping and everything like I'm at church. One, my mom is shocked. I've never seen you like this. Whoa, you really into it. Yeah, I like church music. I never said I didn't. Then one of my mom's church friends came to me, and I guess because I was so into it, she was like, "So, Miss Chi Gurl, which church do you belong to?" And I said, "The Church of Miss Chi Gurl." I'm sorry, but it was like, so because I'm into church music, now I go to church, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with um being in church, y'all. I'm not. I grew up in the church. My family is very uber religious. My grandparents were sanctified. And for those of you, if you don't know what it is to be sanctified, that means that they don't believe in makeup. They don't believe in anything except church music. Everything is secular. Women can't wear pants; they have to wear dresses and skirts and things like that. And there's some other stuff that goes with it. And so my mother, being, I guess, the child of a PK, which is preacher's kid, she kind of rebelled against it a little bit, and so she strayed against away from the church when she was an adult. But she put the how can I put it, the welfare of my religion on my grandmother and her sister. And so I got my religion from those two. And then my mother also put me in Catholic school. So this is where we start getting into some issues. So I'm in Catholic school from the age of 5 until 13. And so I'm learning some of the Catholic values. And so I start picking stuff up. I'm crossing myself and all this stuff. And then my family, every time I'm doing whatever or anything that was like Catholic, we don't do that. That's not what we do in this family. You are so and so. You are not Catholic. And so I would always get chastised. And so you can kind of see where some of my religious background is confused, because I'm learning certain things from Catholic faith, and then I'm learning things from the sanctified faith, or the Baptist faith, because I think my aunt may have been Baptist. You see, so I'm learning all these different types of religion. So I really don't know how to pray to God. Everybody is telling me everything that I'm doing is wrong. And so it's finally like where you get to the point, especially when you go away to college and you're able to decide what kind of person you want to be when you grow up. You decide, okay, I'm going to ease up off of religion, but that doesn't mean that God is not in my heart and that I don't believe in God. And so in college, I went to church for a little while, and then I went to this one church where the people were hollering and screaming and fainting and passing out. And so some of it looked a little fake to me. Like, the preacher said, you say whatever you say, and then the preacher touches you and you fall out. And I'm like, really? So I was like, okay, I'm not into that. Then you have the people running around. And I've seen the people running around in church, you praising them during the choir and all that stuff. But I was like, I'm not feeling that. So the one thing I will say in college that I did learn is I taught myself, because I didn't know that I had ADHD and anxiety. Like, I found out as an adult that I had these things. And so they're saying I probably had all this stuff as a kid. And so to deal with some of the issues, I taught myself a Bible verse. And it's funny because I want to say that they used to pass around Bible verses on campus, and I can't remember which church it was. I want to say it may have been the Church of Latter-day Saints. Anyway, they were passing around a Bible, and I was reading it, and I found this passage in Proverbs. I want to say Proverbs 23, verse 4 and 5. I could tell you what the verse was, but I can't remember which passage it is. I know that's bad. I got to check on it, but I memorized it because it touched me. And basically it said, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not in your own understanding. Acknowledge him in all your ways and he will direct your paths. And so that was the first thing that I learned as an adult, as far as Bible passages. Like I learned about Bible passages when I was younger. I learned the Lord's Prayer in school and, with my family. And then my grandmother had me learn a passage that I know it was Matthew, and I want to say it had something to do with suffer not little children, something, something, something. There was something about children she taught me. I can't remember it now. Anyway, so I always feel like that I get labeled as, I don't know what you would call it. To me, it seems like some people consider me a heathen because I choose not to go to church, because I don't necessarily talk about church. I don't talk about church because it's a hot topic. Everybody has their different faiths. I'm not arguing with anybody about their religion. You can believe what you want to believe, and I'm going to believe what I believe. But, what really got me was at the funeral. So my cousin, I don't know how we got to talking about being saved. And so she was saying something to the extent of, I need to get saved. And I said, I'm saved. And she said, no, you're not. And I said, yes, I am. I said, how you going to tell me? And I said, as a matter of fact, I said, I got baptized twice. I got baptized when I was pregnant. And I said, I think I did that more for my baby and my mama than I did for me. And so I did it a second time for myself. And it was my understanding that when you get saved, that you say that you believe in the Lord with all your heart and you believe that he died for your sins on the cross. And I do, and I still do. And she was like, well, do you fellowship? Do you spread the word? No, I don't do those things because that is not in me. And I said, I pray every day. I talk to the Lord every day. And I said, that is my understanding of fellowshipping with my Lord and having a relationship with my Lord. I read the Bible. The best part about church to me was always music. The choir was always what touched my heart. You will actually catch me crying if there was a church song that really, touched my heart. Like I remember You Brought the Sunshine by the Clark sisters used to make me cry all the time. Then in the movie The Color Purple, God Is Trying to Tell You Something made me cry every time. And I can name some other songs. I Love the Lord by Whitney Houston. That song used to make me cry. So the Lord touches me in different ways than maybe he's touching others. And I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong, but I don't think that I should be judged and be considered a heathen or not saved because I don't worship the way you worship. And not only that, I want to say this, that when I quit my job back in 2007, long story, I'm not going to get into it, but that was the time I felt that I was the closest to the Lord. And like everybody always used to say, bet you won't do that again. You won't quit your job. You won't this and that, because I was unemployed for 11 months. But that 11 months is what actually taught me how to have faith and to trust in God. Because before that, I didn't know how to actually feel God, how to commune with God, how to talk to God, how to pray with God. I didn't know until I was dealing with the struggles of how I'm going to take care of my child. How am I going to keep a roof over my head? How am I going to feed myself, my family? How am I going to do all of these things? When am I going to get a job? I've been on 20 interviews and I've been rejected. Matter of fact, that was the craziest thing to me. And this is actually wound up being the beginning of the recession, back in 2008. I went on all these interviews, made it to the last interview, and then didn't get the job. And the way I wound up actually getting a job, it was just a coincidence, but I'm not going to get into that in this video as well. I just want to say I'm trying to understand why people judge me. And this is part of my problem with religion too, is that for people to be Christians, it seems like they judge me when I thought judgment was only for God. And they judge me because I don't do the things the way they do it. Well, look at my name. My name, Mz.ChiGurl, is actually a double entendre. It's because I consider myself a shy person, as well as living in Chicago, which is also known as the Shy. I don't necessarily open myself up to people unless I feel comfortable with you, until I get to know you. All the friends I've had in my life, I don't make the first move. They've all come to me and said something. We click, and that's how we become friends. I don't initiate my friendships because I'm scared. I did it one time, and I'm gonna just tell you that's kind of how I roll. I'll try something. I'll do it one time. If it don't work and I don't like how it feels, I ain't doing it again. So, long story short, my whole soliloquy, if you will, about religion and all this stuff is that I have started to listen to church music all over again, and I have been feeling peace in my heart. I'm starting to feel some healing, and I'm just trying to figure out why I stopped listening to church music in the first place. I don't remember why I stopped. I really don't. And during this time of tribulation, it's been helping me. So I'm just giving you guys some guidance as to things, I guess, or not guidance. I don't want to be your guide. I'm just here to let you know what's been working for me. What's been working for me is what I told you about, going to the wellness spa and trying to do things, alternatively to help improve my mood. And the next thing that's been working for me is basically listening to gospel Christian songs that help me and have been uplifting my spirit, as well as helping me to release, I guess, some of the pain I have. Because I really have been grieving my job, y'all. I did not think I would be grieving it, but I guess because I've been working and working and working and working, I don't know what it's like not to work anymore. I've been going for 17 years. Like like I said, I quit my job in 2007. I was unemployed for 11 months, and then I got hired, and then I've been working ever since. And so I don't know what it's like not to work anymore. And so I'm having to not reinvent myself, but just find out what's what are my next steps? Especially knowing that my mother is not well, and that if I do get another job, uh, she may call me and tell me that she fell out the bed like she did the other day. Or she may call and tell me that she can't walk. Or she may call me to remind her about all the 50 million things that she always calls and reminds me about. And how am I going to do that while I'm also working? Okay.